A 13-year-old case is getting some brand new attention. A 2011 documentary looks at how Tennessee deals with child sex work cases and just recently caught the interest of celebrities like Rihanna and Kim Kardashian. They've been tweeting a lot about it. They're just two of the handful of celebrities coming forward to support sex trafficking victim and convicted murderer Cyntoia Brown. The hashtag Free Cyntoia Brown has since gone viral. It has been everywhere, especially over this weekend. But the first question tonight, who is Cyntoia Brown? Alex Miller's been looking into her story and also some of the controversies surrounding her case.
Yeah, so Cyntoia Brown was sentenced to life in prison more than a decade ago, but now her case is making headlines and raising questions about how we try sex trafficking crimes in this country.
Cyntoia Brown has been behind bars longer than Twitter and Instagram have been around, and yet those social media platforms are bringing her case out of the shadows. Brown was sentenced to life in prison at age 16 for the murder of 43-year-old Johnny Mitchell Allen. The details of the murder have caused widespread controversy. At the time, Brown was being raped and trafficked by a pimp named Cutthroat. Court records say Brown was out working for Cutthroat when Allen picked her up and brought her to his home. Brown testified Allen showed her guns throughout his house and talked about his military experience. He also told Brown he was a sharpshooter. She also testified that she resisted Allen's advances by pretending to nap until she saw him reaching under his bed. Believing Allen was reaching for a firearm, Brown shot him once with her own gun. She then took 2 of his guns and some money from Allen before leaving. Though Brown testified that she killed Allen in self-defense, prosecutors called it a robbery. She was tried and convicted as an adult. Prosecutor Jeff Burks told Fox 17 in Nashville Brown was not trafficked, nor was she a sex slave. He also added, "It's not fair to the victim and his family that the other side of the case is so seldom heard."
So as the story's gotten more trafficked, there's been a lot of slip-ups about the kind of wording that people use when talking about sex trafficking. So we have a team here at Newsy working on a series about sex trafficking, and I spoke with one of our reporters about the dangers surrounding using the wrong terms. You've been looking at kind of the way the media has covered the Cyntoia Brown case. I wanted to just go over a couple of the things that you pointed out.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about Cutthroat and calling him her boyfriend. What's the problem with that?
So that really plays into the trafficker's narrative. So Cutthroat may have portrayed himself or as a boyfriend, and to like a common viewer's eye, I guess, that could be seen as the case. However, it does an injustice to the victim because he wasn't her boyfriend. He was her trafficker, and it's important for us to label him as such because calling him her boyfriend humanizes what he was doing.
Okay, you were also critical about calling it prostitution or forced prostitution.
Yeah.
You say it should be called just trafficking. Why?
Well, she was a minor, so there is no such thing as a child prostitute, even in like federal law.
Why do you think the media continually gets this wrong? Is it laziness?
It's just not being aware and not realizing how heavy these words actually are. So it's easy to pick up on those words, but it's important for us to kind of look into what that actually means. And so prostitution and trafficking aren't interchangeable. And so what she was going through was specifically trafficking, and it's important for us to address it that way.
So this is being covered now over a decade after she was convicted. Do you think that if these kinds of little nuanced things are changed within the media, you know, a similar case might have a different ending?
Yes, because there's been change in law since then as well. I think that with social media getting involved, because it was brought up again because of the documentary being done, that as we raise awareness, people start to care more, and as people start to care more and get more informed, then we know better on how to address cases like this. And so I think regardless of it coming up now or even before, people are becoming more aware and comparing it to other cases and asking better questions. And so I think we're headed in the right direction when it comes to that.
I thought that was a great point you made, Alex, is that if this were to happen today, that you might hear a child who was trafficked and put in this man's home, you know, reacted in a certain way. And that's a powerful difference to a child prostitute killed somebody. You know, like that is big.
It's all about seeing them as a victim versus a criminal. And this is something that Nora and I also discussed, was that the idea of whether someone's a victim or a criminal has to do with, say, sex, race, socioeconomic status, you know, how we classify people in our culture has to do with those things more than just what actually happened.
And in Tennessee, some of the laws have changed since. So if this case were to happen today, how would it look?
So the Supreme Court in 2012 decided to get rid of mandatory life sentences for juveniles. Now, the interesting thing is Tennessee, it's not technically a mandatory life sentence because she's eligible for parole after 51 years is their cutoff. So she'll be 69 when she's actually eligible. So she doesn't fall into this new law. There's a bill on the floor in the state of Tennessee to try to get that down to after 15 years, but as of now, she's not eligible for parole until she's 69 years old.
So I guess just appeals, that's all she has.
Exactly.